Well, happy new year, everyone. I hope everyone has had a good transition into the new year. I thought that since we're going into the new year, it might be a good time to have a reflection of the COVID-19 hospitalization and case data for the entire 2020. So we've got data all the way up from back in March going up until the end of the year. And I thought it would help for us to have some perspective of what's happening now. What do our hospitalization numbers look like? What do our cases look like? So let's go through each state. I'll try to keep this short for a little bit of perspective. Here is New York and New Jersey up here. This is 0.1% of the population actively in the hospital specifically for COVID-19. So when you get to a level like this, at this point, you're like, 80% of your patients in the hospital are there because of COVID, which is very disruptive. You don't have room for your other patients. When you're down at a level like around here, that is a high enough level that you are starting to disrupt your hospital systems and you've got to shuffle patients around and you're starting to run out of bed space to take care of your normal patients. So it gives you an idea of the range that we're kind of looking at. So you can see a lot of states have passed that range of in the difficult area, the difficult realm of dealing with your cases. So let's go through all of them. So right now, leading the pack in terms of hospitalizations normalized to population, we've got Arizona, Nevada, Alabama, California. Those are the biggest ones. Now, of course, out of all of these, California has the most hospitalizations because it's the largest state, right? But normalized to population, these are the ones that are up there. And also of note, there's been a lot of talk about post-holiday surge and what our case is going to look like after the holidays. Notice each of these places, they were really starting to go up before the holidays even hit. It was early November, early to mid-November that each of these areas started going up. You can see Tennessee was starting to go up way back in October, Mississippi going up in November, Oklahoma really been steady increase ever since September, really, and then starting to level off now. Georgia, Georgia did actually start going up a little bit more after the Thanksgiving holiday. You can see as they go into December, the slope starts going up a bit more. Missouri, they seem to have actually leveled off once they got towards the end of November. So let's keep an eye on that. Um, West Virginia, they also seem to have leveled off now. They started going up in late October, early November. Pennsylvania has leveled off. They actually look like they're starting to drop back down. Texas been steadily going up ever since October. Indiana looks like they're dropping down after starting to go up late September, early October. Delaware seems to have leveled off. They looked like they were going up a little bit more after Thanksgiving, so let's see what they look like after this Christmas season. New Jersey seems to have leveled off now. New York has been still going up ever since late October. Rhode Island seems to have leveled off there. Arkansas, steady increase going up ever since the beginning, really. South Carolina, been going up more since the Thanksgiving time. New Mexico, they spiked up quite a bit. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Maybe it was a change in their data reporting, or maybe they really just had a whole bunch of cases all at once. But they shot up quite a bit all at once in mid-November. Now at least seem to be dropping down. Kentucky started going up back in October, seems to have leveled off now. Ohio looks like they're starting to drop down. Louisiana, you can see Louisiana has been increasing during every, I kind of divide this whole epidemic out into three different phases, the early March, the midsummer, and then the fall increases. In Louisiana, some states go up during one or during another. Louisiana goes up every time. Every time there's a state that's increasing, Louisiana seems to be going up along with them. South Dakota. Now, there were a lot of states, as you can recall, there was that big giant biker rally, and everyone was worried about whether or not we were going to see a big surge in cases as a result. And you'll notice every state that seemed to increase along with that correlated with that big biker rally seems to be dropping down now. So you can see South Dakota going up since that September time, early September, peaked at a really, really bad level in late November, and now has been dropping back down. So that's good. Hopefully, we'll see that trend continue. Washington, D.C. seems to be leveling off. North Carolina, still steady increase ever since early November. Um, Massachusetts, still steady increase since early November. Illinois seems to have peaked and right before the Thanksgiving break and seems to be dropping down steadily since. Virginia, steady increase since early November. Connecticut seems to have leveled off here. Florida, still steady increase ever since October, really. Maryland seems to have leveled off a bit. Nebraska, definitely, they're with that group that's just dropping down right now. Michigan dropping down. Kansas, I think, dropping down. It's hard to read their data. Uh, New Hampshire seems to have leveled off. Idaho seems to be dropping down. Wyoming definitely dropping down there. Iowa definitely dropping down. So you can see all those states that had that increase during that correlated with that big biker rally, they seem to be recovering now. And Colorado dropping down, Wisconsin dropping down. That's good. We want to see more of that. Utah seems to have leveled off. Minnesota dropping down. Washington State seems to be staying pretty level. Puerto Rico seems to be dropping down now in terms of hospitalizations. Maine never really got that bad, and they seem to be stable now. Oregon, again, never really got that bad, but seem to be dropping down. North Dakota, definitely dropping down. Alaska dropping down. Guam, been dropping down ever since mid-October. Hawaii never really got that bad. They got a little bad in the summer, and then that's about it. Vermont, man, look at Vermont. This is what you want a state that's doing something right. We should all be paying attention to what's going on in Vermont, because it really hasn't gotten bad there at all. And then the territories, nothing interesting happening there. In terms of actual fatalities, you can see this is 7-day average of fatalities normalized to population. Now, sometimes it can be tricky to interpret your fatality data because you've got fatality numbers that are confirmed, and then you've got some that are suspected. And then you also have the challenge of you've got some patients that are dying and they just happen to be infected with COVID at the same time, right? And it's not really because of COVID that they're dying. It's something else like kidney failure or something, and just coincidence they're infected at the same time. So it can be depending on which data set you're looking at. I'm using the data from the COVID tracking project. So depending on which data set you're looking at, you might see numbers that are slightly different, but this is roughly in terms of the states that have been hit the worst. New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, South Dakota, Louisiana, Mississippi, New York, all of these guys really, in terms of these are leading the pack in terms of case fatalities per population total. In terms of New Jersey, looking at their numbers, I think COVID-19 has actually surpassed heart disease and cancer as the leading cause of death. So I think for 2020, COVID-19, at least for New Jersey, and I think also for New York City as well. So not for the whole state, but for the city specifically, I think COVID-19 is going to be the leading cause of death for 2020, as near as I can tell. So you can see New Jersey, and it's general, you're going to expect your fatality numbers to be increasing or decreasing about 2 weeks after whatever trend you see in your hospitalization numbers. So here's Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut leveled off, South Dakota dropping as we'd expect, right? Since their hospitalization numbers are dropping. North Dakota dropping down. Illinois stable, might be dropping down a bit. Michigan. And one of the things to make a note of in a lot of these states, we're looking at Iowa, Pennsylvania, it's tough to take into account the last couple of days because sometimes there's a delay in reporting. So trends that you see over here are a little bit more to be followed than trends that you see right over here, because it might take you might have a couple days before your data charts get updated. Pennsylvania, Indiana there, Arizona, Arkansas, you can see New Mexico, Washington, D.C., Georgia, Florida. Haven't yet seen an increase really in fatalities correlating with their wave. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. South Carolina, Nevada, Tennessee, Alabama, Maryland, Delaware, Texas, Minnesota looks like they're dropping down. Kansas, too much fluctuation to really tell there. Missouri, again, the low numbers might just be because of a delay in testing. I don't think their fatality numbers have dropped that quickly. Wisconsin, those numbers probably are dropping down because hospitalizations in Wisconsin are dropping. Montana dropping down. Nebraska, Idaho looking down. Ohio stabilize. Colorado looks like they're dropping down. Guam dropped down. West Virginia, Wyoming. There, a lot of part of the problem over here is a lot of the states with really small populations. Just a few fatalities can significantly change your normalized values, um, and also with delays in reporting, sometimes you get the whole week's worth of fatalities reported in a single day, and that kind of messes up your averages. North Carolina, they've stayed pretty flat the whole time. California, interesting that in terms of hospitalizations and cases, we're really up there. Not as much in terms of fatalities. So it's interesting to see the discrepancies between different states. I'm wondering if California, with its sunnier weather, maybe more people outside at the beach, more people with vitamin D, exposures, maybe that's been what's been helping California out, because we really have not seen fatalities as much as they're reporting the fatality numbers. The fatality numbers are not comparing to the hospitalizations and cases in the same way that other states are. Um, Oklahoma, you can see there. Virginia stayed pretty flat. Kentucky, um, fluctuating, stayed pretty flat. New Hampshire starting to go up there. Puerto Rico stayed flat. Washington State, Utah, looks like they might be ready to start dropping down. Oregon looks like they're dropping down. Alaska, just minor fluctuations there. Maine, nothing big happening there. And of course, Vermont all the way down at the bottom. Vermont and Hawaii, all the way down there at the bottom of the list. Hawaii's done a pretty good job of keeping itself isolated, and territories, nothing interesting going on there. In terms of new cases, what are the most, now again, 7-day averages, normalized population, who's going up the most right now? Of course, California is leading the pack, not just in terms of normalized to population, but also in the total numbers. Tennessee, you can see Tennessee, Arizona, Utah. Daily cases seem like they're starting to drop down in these places, which is good. Hopefully, we'll see those trends continue. Massachusetts leveled off. Oklahoma leveled off, hopefully going down. Arkansas there. Alabama, Rhode Island looks like it's dropping down. Delaware dropped down a bit. Hopefully, we'll get some more drops dropping down there. West Virginia leveled off. Mississippi roughly leveled off there. Kansas looks like it's going down. South Carolina leveled off. North Carolina leveled off. Indiana, New York might be starting to level off. Let's keep an eye on that. It's hard to tell quite yet. Nevada dropping down. Louisiana level off there. Ohio looks like it's dropping down. Pennsylvania dropping down. New Hampshire was dropping down. Let's see if that trend continues. New Mexico definitely dropping down there in terms of daily new cases. Connecticut dropping. Texas seems to have leveled off. Florida seems to have leveled off. It's kind of hard to tell. Kentucky dropping down. Idaho dropping down. Georgia seems to have leveled off a bit. New Jersey seems to be slowly creeping down. Illinois definitely dropping down there. Wyoming, oh, definitely dropping down there. Yeah. Virginia, South Dakota definitely dropping down. Again, it's so interesting. A lot of those places that saw the big surges back in September, we were worried whether or not those surges were going to continue into the holiday season. It looks like for a lot of those states, especially the ones with more rural populations, it really hasn't. They peaked mid-November and then started dropping down and haven't really shown signs of ticking back up since. So that's good news. We want to see that keep going. Nebraska dropping down, Wisconsin dropping down, Maryland leveled off, Missouri dropping down. Finally, they were going up the whole time, and now they finally mid-November they're starting to drop down. Colorado dropping down, Alaska dropping down, Montana down, Maine leveled off. They never really got that bad to begin with. Washington, D.C. leveled off. North Dakota, again, with that group that's just dropping down. Michigan dropping down. Minnesota dropping down. Puerto Rico stayed pretty flat and stable. No surges there. Oregon, they were up a bit. Now they're dropping back down. Iowa dropping down. Washington dropping down. Vermont, again, Vermont is the place to be during this. Yeah, it's they're doing some good stuff there. And then, islands, Hawaii, Guam, those places, not much happening there right now. So that's it in terms of what our hospitalization numbers are looking like, what our fatalities are looking like, and our daily new cases. So some places are going up, but a lot of places are going down in terms of their hospitalization numbers and daily new cases. So it will be interesting to follow this data the next couple of weeks and see what effects that we see from this New Year holiday season. So hope everyone is having a good time. Stay safe, and I'll be back hopefully soon with another update.